Welcome to the Neuro Performance Podcast with your host, Andy Murphy. Join us as we delve into the advanced high-performance tactics he uses with his elite clientele across the globe. Let's unlock a whole new world of business potential together.
Okay, here we are today with my new friend, Anya Cheng. I'm very excited to bring you on the show, the Neuro Performance Podcast. We've had so many guests on over the years, and you know what? Something we were just speaking before, Anya, is I really need to bring amazing female CEOs on the show, and more of this. So I'm really excited for you to be here, and welcome to the show.
Hello, hi everyone. I'm Anya Cheng, and founder and CEO of Taelor. We use AI to style men and send you real clothes for you to wear. And before starting the company, I had 15 years in big tech companies before, most recent at Meta, where I help build out Facebook, Instagram shopping. As a head of product at eBay, I help build their new business in the US and also new market in Latin America, Africa, Asia. Was a senior director at McDonald's, help people build out food delivery business. So if you are hungry at night in the middle of night, then you order the chickens, and sorry, that was my fault. And I also was a head of product for the Target, which is the second largest retailer in the US for their mobile tablet e-commerce. I started my career as a marketer and as a data scientist, but last 10 years, most leading software and engineering teams. So glad to be here.
What's the big vision with Taelor? Because it's a money motivator for you, for sure. That's why you're building this thing. But as I've got to know you over the past, like in this episode, I can also see your heart, right? I can also see there's a much deeper side of you than probably most people actually see, because they see your analytics, they see your drive, they see your leadership. But I see your heart with this. And so what is this drive? What is this? Because it's not just money.
Yeah, I started as a blue collar family. My mom is a housewife. My dad is a factory worker. I came to the US 17 years ago, went to Northwestern University, and my English was so poor as I'm from Taiwan. And while I remember that I pointed at the swimming pool and I yelled, "That's a great ocean." I thought swimming pool is equal to oceans. And a guy was trying to ask me out, so that he asked me, "Are you seeing someone?" And I turned around and I said, "No, I don't see anyone behind me." I didn't know what "are you seeing someone" means. Are you seeing someone? I said, "No, I didn't see any ghosts. Do you see any ghosts here? It's Halloween." And I graduated from the school with a master's degree in marketing. It happened to be 2008. So there was Lehman Brothers went bankruptcy. There was no job anywhere. I was very interested in doing marketing for a media company because I had a marketing degree and I was a reporter back in Taiwan. However, I didn't know that media company doesn't need marketing. Like, when was the last time you see CNN run ads on ESPN, right? So they don't need marketing. So I obviously couldn't find any job, and I went to New York, and I started cold calling 2,000 alumni, and I was able to get some meetings because one day it was raining after I got rejected again by an interview. So I walked outside the building. It was snowing, and the New York snow is actually not really like white snow. It's more like the black slash, And as my high heel, I was stumped onto the water, and my whole feet was soaked and was super wet and cold. And I saw a Chinese restaurant, and I walked into the restaurant. I ordered just pour over rice. And as soon as the waitress served the dish, my tear dropped on the rice. Because it was such a simple and family meal back in Taiwan. But here it seems everything is so hard. And I was like, I was somebody back in Taiwan, but why am I here begging for a job? So I finished a meal, walk out to the restaurant, it started raining. And I was like, oh, great. Even the God tell me that you should stop. So I was trying to avoid the rain by zipping between different newsstands and like trying to wait. And so I glanced onto the table and I saw there are newspapers on the stand. New York Times, publisher name, blah, blah, blah. If you want advertise, call this number. Great. So I bought all of the newspaper back to my friend's living room. I stay in different friends' living room every week. So I start cold calling every single newspaper. Hi, I'm interested. And then eventually I actually met with New York Times CEO, CNN VP, all of their company's executive. But no, everyone say we are laying off people, we are not hiring. And I thought seems working, but just not fast enough. So I want to go to a conference, but so the ticket of conference are so expensive. So then I called the magazine back in Taiwan and say, hey, I heard this amazing conference in New York. Would you like to report it for free that you want to hear a story? And then I called the conference, say, hey, I'm a reporter from Taiwan. Can I get a press pass for free? So then I was able to get into a conference and I start getting a lot of meeting with a lot of executive in media company. But eventually I got no jobs. So I went back to Chicago. I learned a lot during the process, even though I didn't get any job. So I put together a business plan and from what I learned from those company, and I pitched to a local magazine company. And they are a magazine for farmers and also the salon owner. So I went interview their different salon owner as their reader. I find a magazine, they have advertiser. I calling those advertiser, I interviewing them, and I put together a business plan and I pitched to a company. I say, you should launch a digital department, which you need someone who know marketing, know a little bit media, and ideally not too expensive because they're just out of school. And I know someone with me. So the CEO asked me, would you like to be a contractor? I didn't know what contractor mean in English. So I said yes. I went home, I Googled contractor. I didn't know why she want me to be a plumber. Plumber, right? Plumber is a contractor. Awesome. So I Googled contractor. You'll come out with a plumber. I didn't know why she want me to be plumber, but that's how I got my first job in the US. So my drive is that I got my American dream. I'm not sure I have achieved really all, but some. And I really hope that everyone can be the best version of themselves without worrying about outfit or whatever stuff that they shouldn't be worrying about. Like when I was the head of product at eBay, I shouldn't worry about that if I am capable enough to be the head of product. I should be worrying about what's the next digital product that we should be launching. I should be worried about how to implement agile for the company. But in fact, I did worry about my outfit. So I think the mission for Taelor is not just about picking clothes for you. It's about how can I help you to take one thing, even one tiny thing of your busy play. So then you can go ready to pitch. You can go ready to hire your next amazing executive. You can go and find the insight from your customers. So then you can focus on being the best version of yourself.
Yeah. Yeah, good to be. And I love the intro. That's fantastic. And so let's delve into you. Let's delve into you because that's what's fascinating. You've obviously done so many things and you've led so many teams. So how do you switch between those different versions of you, Anya? Because the version that sits there and has to really get creative is not the same version of you who sits there and looks at the algorithms and builds the logic side. So how have you found that shift for yourself? Is it hard? Is it easy? And how do you be you? Because you've got to switch off at the end of the day as well, right?
Yeah, I think so. Probably we all gained the skill after COVID, right? So before that, it was more of the word more or not the word more. And nowadays, and everyone is in between, right? So, and actually reflect, we see that literally in our customers, they before the COVID, which we just started doing the COVID, but at the beginning they will ask, is it work clothes, it's fun clothes. But now that everyone wants something versatile, which is means everything in between. They can hop on a call while also having relax for another 30 minutes with friend and get back to work at night. So I think that it's we all probably start getting this skill. One thing that I found it helpful is that to really kind of switch off the mindset of I should do, because before I will, when I need to work on something, start from the fun and need to work on something, I will say I should do what. But the reality is the more that I say I should do, the more that I don't want to do it, because I feel pressure and I feel that I'm blaming on myself, like, why are you not doing that? But now I try to switch and say, hey, I would like to. So I would think, I would like to do that. I would like to do that. And it feel the motivation that, yes, I want to do it. So I think that really helped me to switch between different roles. I also found it helpful. My days usually pretty long, like starting 8 o'clock in the morning all the way to 11 p.m. nonstop. But I try to also make sure I have a halftime off. Like we all watch the sport, right? We know halftime is so important for the athlete. So I usually, like my halftime is usually between 3 to 4 p.m. because that's before Asia time. People get off and get started, and then that's before people end. So I have a little bit break, and I went or usually go downstairs and do a little bit swimming. It really helped me to regain energy right back, and then ready for the second half.
Gotcha. So I love it. So do you treat yourself like an athlete?
I try. They're definitely horrible in the running and everything, but I try. I also try to not, I used to create a to-do list, like this you need to do that, you do that. But then very quickly, the 3-item to-do list becomes 300-item to-do list. And then you just hate the list. You don't want to open the list. You actually don't want to do anything on the list. So what I no longer do and start doing instead is that in the morning, I will ask myself, okay, what's one thing I have to get done today? And the rest of things just go with the flow. But at least the most important thing is get done today.
I love it. I love it. So you're micro itemizing what you have to get done, and you're looking at that one thing that at least can give you that dopamine hit, right? That you're going to tick that box off. That's cool. That's a good way. So if you're finishing at 11 o'clock at night, is that a normal day for you?
Yeah, unfortunately, and yes, it's a normal days. And so I'm a startup founder. We started a company 2 years ago. So still very early on. And we are also backed by VC, which are the early investor of Spotify, Facebook, TikTok. So we will expect to grow a lot. And we grow 10 times year over year last year and continue to grow a lot this year. So the day is long. However, I do want to make sure that when I feel that I'm not really in the mode, and I call myself timeout. So the same thing when you think of the basketballs, like somehow it's just not scoring, right? So then this time the coach will say, timeout, get this person off. Sometimes I will look at my screen and then feel like I'm wandering and doing random stuff. Timeouts, and it's time for ice cream. And so unfortunately, I got a lot of ice creams.
So the sugar makes you feel good. I like it. I like it. So I love that. Let's move to, because your brand is Taelor, right? And it's quite a unique concept in many ways. I mean, there's obviously been lots of clothing manufacturing and like membership or communities before, but this is obviously special. Because if you've got the VCs of those type backing you, I can understand, Anya, where the pressure is coming from for a start. I understand why you're doing it, working till 11 o'clock at night. This is your baby, and there is a window of opportunity for you to really make this happen and change your life. And so 11 o'clock at night, what do you do to switch off? Is it just exhaustion? And you just fall asleep, or what gives you the ability to get motivated again and actually enjoy this process rather than it just beating you down like so many people do, like happens to them,
Yeah, I think I was just in the TechCrunch last week as
Okay.
one of the company who picked by to pitch at their side events. And
Okay.
so I heard Andy Dom, the former CEO of Bonobo, he talked about how he deal with mental health. And one thing he said, you probably always feel that if it's not successful, it's all because you haven't worked hard enough. And the fact is just not true. Like rationally, we all know it's not true, but
Sure.
mentally, we probably feel that yes, it's just me. So I do try to cool down a bit before, and just like many of you, but I have book time, I have Netflix show times, and
Okay.
but for me, it's that the cuddle with my cat is my really the me time in the end of the day. But I think everyone's different. Some people
Sure.
feel like a lot of exercise is needed. Some people feel like BFF time is perfect, and you just have to find the time, the things that work for you. And some people doesn't feel long hour is productive for them. Some people like to have short and really focus hour. You know, when
Sure.
I was the leading the Facebook shopping at Facebook and also had a product at eBay. I work with colleagues across globally in Europe, in China, in India. And some colleagues, they start really late, they work really late. And some colleagues, especially in Europe, they work a lot of shorter hours, but then they are
Sure.
extremely focused, right? So
Yes.
I think it's think of yourself as an iPhone, right? So iPhone is amazing, but it's very different from Android, and both of them are pretty successful. So
Sure.
how would you build yourself as the next amazing product? iPhone is known for a good user experience. Android is known for being open sources. So you don't have to win by checking every single box, but you do
Love it.
have to have one thing that is your superpower that no one else can have. And for example, Target, the retailer that I worked for before, when I was at Target, people want moms go to the store and they go to store to get lost because
Sure.
they're wandering
Sure.
around. It's easy to shop. So when we are building their mobile apps, we decide not to do product comparison because eBay will have more product. We decide not to do price comparison because Walmart have a cheaper price. We decide not to build something that will be in-store GPS because we were focused on mobile tablet e-commerce experience on the tablet at home, the
Sure.
lean back moment, right? But we decide to do one feature alone, which is we decide to do shoppable Instagram because we want to bring the in-store walking around, wandering experience to their online experience. And we do that one thing. And second thing we did is we fix a crash. You used to open the app and you will load forever and you crash.
Okay.
And by
Okay.
these two things, we won the Webby Award, which is the Digital Awards Oscar,
I
and then
saw
we
that.
drive 1 million revenue per day. So
Wow.
just think of yourself as a product. What's one thing that you do better than others? And then what's a table stake that you have to do? Otherwise, other people beat you down.
That's love it. Love it. This is solid advice. And the advice you're giving is just being able to maintain this high pace that you actually do on a daily basis. This is great. This is great. And you spoke about mental health and I find with a lot of entrepreneurs, and you are obviously, you've got a grip of this in a good way, because a lot of entrepreneurs end up burning themselves out. And I feel it's such a shame because there's so many incredible people, but also so many incredible ideas and concepts that don't actually come to fruition. They don't actually come into the world because the entrepreneur burns himself out. So I love what you just said. So tell me about Taelor, right? Because where did this come from? Because let's rewind. What was that idea? Were you looking at something? Were you analyzing data? Because I can see that you're going to analyze a lot of data in your world. So where was the first time that you thought about Taelor? Was the name, did the name come first? Did the concept come first? Did the conscious venture come first? What was that first little glimpse into the brand they called Taelor?
Yeah, you're probably curious why two women, me and my co-founder, Phoebe, who was my University of Chicago MBA classmate more than 10 years ago.
Oh, wow,
And
wow, wow.
why two women? And one does finance operation, one is me, like really have backgrounds in AI and technology, and actually started a menswear company 2 years ago.
Right.
So it's actually
Right.
the idea started when I was at eBay. I was a head of product there, the only minority and also only woman head of product in the company. I
Wow.
felt imposter syndrome. I led
Sure.
large technology teams, and I feel that I must be not good enough every day. So I try to at least look presentable. Like if I'm
Okay.
freaking out, at least people shouldn't think that I'm freaking out. So I look for
Okay.
some subscription boxes out there on the market that they are great, that someone style you, such as Stitch Fix, but you have to
Sure.
buy from every single shipment. So they style
Sure.
you, but then when they mail to you, it's e-commerce. You have to buy before you can wear. And I didn't want to own that much stuff. So I looked for some rental options, like company like Newly by Urban Outfitter, which is a profitable unicorn in just 4 years, and also like Rent the Runway, which is a public company. And I realized it's great that you can rent. You don't have to wear the same thing again and again. But
Oh.
there are 10,000 garments on the apps, and you have to go through one by one. And there was a moment I realized all of those fashion companies, they are designing for people who are into fashion, not for people like me. I just want to get ready for the day and be successful.
Right.
So
Right.
I look at around, like who like me hate shopping, hate laundry, very purposeful. They want to look good to get a job, get a day, and close a deal, but they don't want to chasing after GQ. And they are guys.
Sure.
So turn out that two women to start a menswear business. We want to start our unlimited closet, but then turn out become menswear business. So at Taylor,
Hey.
people pay a monthly fee, say around $100, then you get to wear 10 clothes per month. So our
Okay.
AI will pick the clothes to make you stand out. And the item arrive clean and ready to wear. You wear for a couple weeks. If you love something, you can buy it with a discount. If not, you return the dirty clothes after wearing for a few weeks. Then you get next shipments right away. So no more shopping, no more laundry. But on the other hand, we actually helped you to help the world to be a better place by helping brand to get a lot more sustainable. Today, 10% of clothes go directly from factory to landfill because they don't know what people like. So by giving the rental model, people give feedback right away, like your Netflix. You want to make sure you part the show so then your next Korean drama is better, right? So we feed the feedback back to the fashion brand, and we also help them to monetize some of the unsold inventory. So then you get to know brand internationally, and also the best brand, but also emerging brand, because through rental, you only need to own it for a week or two. So why not try something new brand that you never tried before? So we actually help to solve the sustainability problem, which is a really big problem in the fashion industry.
It's a huge problem in the fashion industry, and we'll talk about that more because I love that concept. So you literally, I love the whole thing. I think it's very clever. One, you're giving brand exposure to upcoming brands, right? You're allowing people to be able to try a new look and feel, which actually it affects their identity, you know, because they with the whole, because they can actually try a new persona on, and you're targeting guys. Because guys, well, yeah, you know, some single guys out there want to be, you know, want to present themselves a different way. And you're just saying, because with a busy entrepreneur, you don't have time to go to the shops necessarily. You don't have time to go shopping and try all these clothes on. So a lot of people end up wearing the same things again and again and again. I love this. And so from that sustainability model, it is a massive problem in the world. It really is. It's what do they call it? What do they call it with its where the clothing just you wear it once basically.
Yeah, fast fashion, which is generate 10% of carbon emission in the world.
Carbon emission, 10%?
Exactly. So isn't crazy? Right? So 30% of the clothes go directly from factory to landfill because it's just really hard for them to know what's going to sell. And so we help them to get feedback so then they can be smarter. But then if there's small amounts that end up still produced, then it doesn't have to burn them. People can try it with professional stylist support. And our AI do the work and our human stylists make final check before it goes to a customer.
I see. I love that. I think it's such a clever concept. Hence why you've been backed by VCs, right? At that level. But tell me more about AI, because that's your background as well. Besides, like you are, I'm going to use the word, you're a badass. I can just see it right through all your research, and I'm getting to know you right now. And I love that. I love people who are just outliers. I love people who are driven. And so tell me more about the AI side of you, because that's changing rapidly in the world. As a marketer myself, and as well as a high performance coach and all the rest of it, it's helped me massively. And it's helped me massively in ways that just to gather my thoughts, just to be able to really utilize the ideas, but then it puts it into a structure. I'm also dyslexic. So sometimes it's my brain gets pretty jumbled with how to actually structure this stuff. But how long have you been working with AI for? And I love the pictures you put up. They're really cool.
Yeah, time for the AI time, right? So AI, I think we started 2 years ago, and which was right around the time Gen AI started. And
Okay.
I think people, probably many of you know that the era of algorithm is dead. Like before, like the whole world is about algorithm, right? The Google search bar, you don't know what's behind. It's a really interesting algorithm. Then for Instagrams, and you don't know why you see this post. It's an interesting and amazing and secret algorithm, right? The same thing for your show, that it's an algorithm that you show. However, it's very, very different concept in the era of AI. It's all about data, unique data. Because today, the 3-4 company, Elon Musk XAIs and OpenAI, Google's AI, Meta's AI, the large language model now is dominating the world. But however, the model is model. Whatever make model smarter is the data, right? So you can own a unique data still using those LLM, large language model, but then your unique data, you can put it on top of their model. And so then it will be unique to you that no one else has. For example, at Taelor, we know people's true preference. So when you pick the clothes along with our AI support, then it's actually what you really like, not because it's in discount. Right? When you go to a department store, many times you buy something that you don't love it, but it's only $5, right? So 90% off, perfect. I will bring it home, right? So it's like how you decide what to watch on Netflix show. You pay a monthly fee, so what you pick together with AI is what you truly love. Second, for example, we do know the customers, we do know the quality of the clothes after washes. After 3 times, does it shrink or does it good? We also know the future. AI only know the past. AI doesn't know the future, right? But we do know the future because we partner with over 300 brands, and they are already designing the collection 2 years down the road. We also have professional, right? So why AI is perfect, but you may still ask some professor some question, right? Because the person has professional knowledge. And so does us. We have human professional stylists that we hire from Stitch Fix and some amazing best fashion companies. And then we feed all of this together and we become and put it into a module. We put this module on top of our LLM model. So every time the model grow, we grow, but we always one step ahead. So in the era of AI, think about what's unique about your data.
I love it. That's a fast little lesson we got about AI, but it's cool. So that's really, do you feel obviously data is the most expensive thing in the world right now? It's the most valuable thing, I should say, right? People are online and they don't realize what they're doing. They're just giving data. That's all they're doing, right? So with this data, is that really the IP behind your company? Is that why the VCs have got involved? Is that what I take it you're heading towards IPO or an exit? That's the big picture with what you're doing?
Yeah, I think we both. We open-minded to go to IPO or
Okay.
as it with company acquires, for example, e-commerce company, they are
Sure.
start getting into circular fashion like Amazon partner with secondhand companies or international brands in company in Saudi who want to enter the US market but don't have time to go figure out how to grab those million of white collar busy mans, then can
Sure.
potentially be our acquirer. Or of course, fashion brand like Urban Outfitters spent 4 years to build a business. Now is a unicorn, profitable, and also surpassed the revenue surpassed their wholesale business, which they built during the last 30 years, right? 30
Wow.
years got
Wow.
surpassed by 4 years with their rental. So Nike, Uniqlo's, or Lululemon who want to enter this new circular fashion market but doesn't want to build something from scratch can potentially be our future acquirer in the future. We are pretty open-minded, but the reason I think why we are backed by the founder of U2 and two leading investors, VC, I think one is that we really focus on the tractions and like be different from before COVID, which you can raise just with ideas. Now it's all
Sure.
about show me the numbers, show me the money. So we were able to grow revenue 10 times in the last year. Of course, we're
Wow.
still early to start up, but we are now at traction more than the A rounds company, and we are actually just right around C rounds. And I think second thing was also that we have a little bit more diverse revenue share, the revenue model. So for example, our customer do pay a monthly fee, but
Sure.
when they love something, they can also buy the clothes. And in fact,
Okay.
buy clothes customer receive after wear, on average, 1 or 2 get sold right away after 3 rentals by 3
Okay.
people, right? So
Okay.
we also, on top of them, today we partner with over 300 brands and pretty much any known brand that you know are on the platform today. But we also help them on the AI side by licensing our AI technology to them. So we think so we cannot the best way to have best product for our customer is that we have amazing brand with us. But by getting those amazing brand, we cannot just treat them as a vendor. We have to be their strategic partner. And what's lacking in the fashion industry is that they are really good in producing amazing quality clothes, but most of them are horrible in technology, right? Right? Look at any fashion site, right? If you go to their e-commerce site, it wasn't the best, right? So however, oppositely, we are a company here in Silicon Valley, and last 10 years I built Facebook shoppings and also Instagram shopping's backend, eBay's new business. So I know technology. So then we decided to licensing some of our technology back to them. Okay, so you love that we now have AI stylists. Perfect. You want AI stylists on Lululemon website and LV's website? Perfect, you can use it. Or, hey, everything's on our website today were generated by AI, including the styling notes, which is generating something by AI is easy, but generating something correct by AI is not easy.
Yeah.
And we were able to get that. And so today you see how to compare. And because we do have 2 people on the team who are formerly founders of menswear for other company, their own startup before, they tried to do it in the last 10 years. It wasn't successful. There wasn't AI before. We hire them. We get their data into our models. And so today we were able to generate those styling notes on the website. And now we're licensing back to fashion brands. So then they can also reduce time and energy on their side.
I love it. I love your brain. I do. I love your thinking. That's genius in so many ways. So clever because you're using their data analytics to be able to literally resell them in the advancement that you found in this niche. That's really, really clever, Anya. That really is. So it can't have been easy, right? Because take it from a concept of Taelor, like you've told me where the idea came from. And there's so many people obviously watching and they're like, well, I've got an idea. I can see a niche. I can see this. I'm really scared about getting in front of VCs. I can pitch and pitch and pitch, but did you get in front of VCs because of your existing network? That was the in for you? And once you got those meetings What was it like going to pitch to them this brand new concept? And were you just doing basic sales off like a slideshow? Was there anything unique that you did, like some of your secret sauce that really got the VC interested? I can talk more, but I'm just curious.
Yeah, I think so. It's really actually our story was that we
You and your pictures, I love it.
yeah, you have to do the magics, right? But in fact, our story was I started by posting just on two different groups, and I am Northwestern University alumni and also University of Chicago alum. So I posted in two of the groups and say, hey, I'm an alumni. We are fundraising, start this company. Our mission is to help people to end the imposter syndrome and help to save the environment. And we start getting some angel, and one of the angels, including our professor. So an astrology professor from University of Chicago. And the professor say, hey, you guys are a startup founder. You should talk to my another classmate who is also a startup founder. So I talked to the founder, and in the meeting, I forgot that I was intent to ask him about fundraising. So I was just genuinely listening to his company, and it's a security camera company powered by AI. And after that, I introduced a lot of people to him. Oh, I travel for Facebook in Nigeria before. Let me connect you to the security company that we partner. Oh, let me connect you to my police office friends. And so 2 weeks after, he circled back to me. He said, oh, Anya, thank you so much for those leads. By the way, what did you ask me for? Was this something that I can help you? And I realized, oh, I forgot. I was intent to ask you, use a meeting to ask for an investor. So then he connected me to his investor, Berlin Capital, which is an early investor of Lyft and Instacart, and founded by a guy, so Ben Lin, who was an early executive of Google. So we talked to Ben, half an hour, we got $1 million investment. So sometimes money is there when you are not looking. But when you go on the pitch, I think everyone knows that ideally you find people to refer to you, not through cold calling. I know it's hard because then how many referrals that you have and need it. But I was just in TechCrunch, and I will also recently speak an AI summit. And this is what other speakers say. They say on average, VC spend 2.5 minutes on a deck. And in the 2.5 minutes, they spend 45 seconds in the team slide. And so when you are on the team slide, not just about how cool you are, but it's about how relevant your background with that company. Like for example, at Taelor, we need AI. So I have tech background, right? So women's in tech, 40 under 40. We also need marketing because we are consumer product. So I am marketer at lecturer at Northwestern University, and I work for consumer brands, Facebook, eBay, and Target, McDonald's, right? And my tech teams are people who I hire from my former those consumer tech companies. And we also need fashion, which you also need operation because we do ship real clothes for the customer, right? So my co-founder Phoebe, she used to run operation for largest food companies, such they offer food for like Starbucks or Singapore Airlines. And we hire from fashion brands like Stitch Fix and Gap and Puma. And we also have two former founders who are in the menswear rental business on the team. So it's not about how great you are. I'm sure you're amazing, but it's about what you are building, what is the skill needed, and do you have the team? And I think you should think about that. It's back to the basketball example. We tend to see the all-star team play horribly, right? They are all-star, but they are horrible. But the championship teams, they are great because some people assist, some people score, right? Gotcha. So think of your team it's about the diverse background that's needed for your business. And they also say VC spend 30 seconds in a slide of purpose. So the problem you are solving, right? So for example, if you illustrate in product, if you illustrate problem clearly, people can imagine the solution. There was a company, they say, hey, The problem is that I was trying to remodel like my home. I have to go to 10 different stores to find different materials. And I have to buy a whole bunch of tools that I will never use it after my remodeling of my house.
Right.
Even without the guy saying the solution, you already know what he or she is building, which is an app that you can buy all different material from different store, an app that you can rent equipment that you don't need in the future, right?
Gotcha.
So if you explain the problem well, then people can imagine the solution.
I love it. That's magic what you just said. That's so high level valuable. So basically to distill some of that down, you were so strategic, right? In who you're bringing in as your magic team, as your dream team. But before that, even before that, what I loved about what you said is you were genuinely just intrigued and interested in listening to that gentleman, and you gave him value, right? You didn't ask for anything. You didn't take, right? And I feel so many entrepreneurs get that model wrong. They're all about just taking. There's no giving, right? And you like energetically, intelligently networked and just gave. And because of all the things that you've done, because of all the things that you've done, you built this huge network, and then you were able to just share it with people. And you didn't expect any ROI off that. You didn't want anything back from that. You just wanted to help. And that's rare. That's really rare. So the biggest advice you can give to people in that, if you were to just distill it down into one statement, if someone had an idea and they wanted to get that out into the world, what would that one sentence be that you would give them?
Yeah, I think so. You should believe in yourself. And here's why. Here's an example. I was in a startup competition 2 years ago. And in order to win the competition, I found 42 formal judges to do mock practice pitch with them. So after that, when I went on pitch, my pitch obviously was perfect because I practiced with 42 formal judges of their competition. However, at the moment of Q&A, as soon as the judge asked a question, I stunned. I just stunned. Why?
Really?
Because all in my head, I was thinking, this question. I know that this question because practice judge number 37 asked me this question, and the judge also told me about the answer, and I put in the appendix slide number 11. In my head, I wasn't trying to answer the question. I was trying to find the answer from other judges. It's almost like when you are a student, you go to an open book exam, but you see the question, you start open the book and start finding the answer. And then after half an hour, the time's up and you still haven't write down the answer. And then you realize if you look at the questions and count down, you actually know the answer, right? But many times you don't believe you can do it. So you were trying to find it as a run, and instead of just being yourself and sit down and think about what's the answer. So of course I didn't win in that competition, but it really helped me realize that I know more than what I thought. As a founder, like you think about a problem 24/7, right? It's probably you are one of the 10 people in the world know this topic more than anyone else. So yeah, other people's point of view matters, but when I give you an idea, do not take it. However, you ask for why. Right? For example, when I start pitching and someone say, you should remove the team slide. You shouldn't say you guys are Fortune 500 company manager and executive. And I didn't do it. I was like, why? Like, it sounds amazing, right? We are cool people who are experienced and achieve something in our career. And then he said, you know what? Because if you are a startup, Fortune 500 company executive sounds slow. I was like, okay, that's a great insight. How about can I say we build 0 to 1 department for Fortune 500 company? He said, that's perfect. Right? So instead of removing entirely, I ask why. So when people give you feedback, do not take the what and ask for why.
I love that. That's huge right there. And because what you're doing is you're not just taking for granted their credibility. You know, just because they are brilliant at what they do doesn't mean it doesn't mean it's the right answer, right? It means you're going deeper and you're looking for their motivation. You're looking for their wisdom behind it. And then what you're doing is you're making your own analytical decision, right? Because you are leading this thing. So I think that's huge. So when you're in these, and for a start, I laughed when you said, I really did laugh when you said, yes, when he asked me a question, I was going back into, it's in appendix this, it's in this slide 3 and appendix this. That shows me what your brain is like. I kind of think that you've got a good memory.
I don't think I did, and that's why I stung. I was like, where? Which slide?
Okay. I love this. So going back to Taelor just before we wrap this up for you, because I know you're busy. What's the big vision with Taelor? Because it's a money motivator for you, for sure. That's why you're building this thing. But as I've got to know you over the past, like in this episode, I can also see your heart, right? I can also see there's a much deeper side of you than probably most people actually see, because they see your analytics, they see your drive, they see your leadership. But I see your heart with this. And so what is this drive? What is this? Because it's not just money.
Yeah, I started as a blue collar family. My mom is a housewife. My dad is a factory worker. I came to the US 17 years ago, went to Northwestern University, and my English was so poor as I'm from Taiwan. And I remember that I pointed at the swimming pool and I yelled, "That's a great ocean." I thought swimming pool is equal to oceans. And a guy was trying to ask me out, so that he asked me, "Are you seeing someone?" And I turned around and I said, "No, I don't see anyone behind me." I didn't know what "are you seeing someone" means. Are you seeing someone? I said, "No, I didn't see any ghosts. Do you see any ghosts here? It's Halloween." And I graduated from the school with a master's degree in marketing. It happened to be 2008. So there was Lehman Brothers went bankruptcy. There was no job anywhere. I was very interested in doing marketing for a media company because I had a marketing degree and I was a reporter back in Taiwan. However, I didn't know that media company doesn't need marketing. Like, when was the last time you see CNN run ads on ESPNs, right? So they don't need marketing. So I obviously couldn't find any job, and I went to New York, and I started cold calling 2,000 alumni, and I was able to get some meetings because one day it was raining after I got rejected again by an interview. So I walked outside the building. It was snowing, and the New York snow is actually not really like white snow. It's more like the black slash, And as my high heel, I was stumped onto the water, and my whole feet was soaked and was super wet and cold. And I saw a Chinese restaurant, and I walked into the restaurant. I ordered just pour over rice. And as soon as the waitress served the dish, my tear dropped on the rice. Because it was such a simple and family meal back in Taiwan. But here it seems everything is so hard. And I was like, I was somebody back in Taiwan, but why am I here begging for a job? So I finished a meal, walk out to the restaurant, it started raining. And I was like, oh, great. Even the God tell me that you should stop. So I was trying to avoid the rain by zipping between different newsstands and like trying to wait. And so I glanced onto the table and I saw there are newspapers on the stand. New York Times, publisher name, blah, blah, blah. If you want advertise, call this number. Great. So I bought all the newspaper back to my friend's living room. I stay in different friends' living room every week. So I start calling every single newspaper. Hi, I'm interested. And then eventually, I actually met with New York Times CEO, CNN VP, all of their company's executive. But
Wow.
no, everyone say we are laying off people, we are not hiring. And I thought seems working, but just not fast enough. So I want to go to a conference, but so the ticket of conference are so expensive. So then I called the magazine back in Taiwan and say, hey, I heard this amazing conference in New York. Would you like to report it for free that you want to hear a story? And then I called the conference, say, hey, I'm a reporter from Taiwan. Can I get a press pass for free? So then I was able to get into a conference, and I start getting a lot of meeting with a lot of executive in media company. But eventually I got no jobs. So I went back to Chicago. I learned a lot during the process, even though I didn't get any job. So I put together a business plan, and from what I learned from those company, and I pitched to a local magazine company, and they are a magazine for farmers and also some salon owner. So I went interview their different salon owner as their reader. I find a magazine, they have advertiser. I calling those advertiser, I interviewing them, and I put together a business plan, and I pitched to a company. I say, you should launch a digital department, which you need someone who know marketing, know a little bit media, and ideally not too expensive because they're just out of school. And I know someone with me. So the CEO asked me, would you like to be a contractor? I didn't know what contractor mean in English. So I said, yes. I went home, I Googled contractor. I didn't know why she want me to be a plumber. Plumber, right? Plumber is a contractor. Awesome. So I Googled contractor. You'll come out with a plumber. I didn't know why she want me to be plumber, but that's how I got my first job in the US. So my drive is that I got my American dream. I'm not sure I have achieved really all, but some. And I really hope that everyone can be the best version of themselves without worrying about outfit or whatever stuff that they shouldn't be worrying about. Like when I was the head of product at eBay, I shouldn't worry about that if I am capable enough to be the head of product. I should be worrying about what's the next digital product that we should be launching. I should be worried about how to implement the agile for the company. But in fact, I did worry about my outfit. So I think the mission for Taelor is not just about picking clothes for you. It's about how can I help you to take one thing, even one tiny thing of your busy play. So then you can go ready to pitch. You can go ready to hire your next amazing executive. You can go and find the insight from your customers. So then you can focus on being the best version of yourself.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Thank you for sharing all that. That makes me happy, because to end the podcast on that note, I think I'm going to clip that and put it at the start, because I think that shows you in really who you are behind the scenes. And that was my mission for this. And I love to do this with guests, because by the time the podcast ends, we end up friends, because I end up finding out truly who you are, Anya, and it shows why this brand is going to be incredibly successful, because you're driving this thing. It shows your heart behind it. It shows your intelligence. It shows your experience. And yeah, for everybody out there listening, right? Anya's had on the screen the entire time, because she's a badass at marketing, 30% off code with Neuro30. And I'll put the link there, but it's tailor.style. And I'm going to be going check it out immediately. So thank you for everything today. It's been a pleasure. And now you're part of the Neuro Performance community.
Great. Thank you so much. I'm Anya Cheng, founder and CEO of Taelor.style. Thank you.
Thank you.
That's all for this episode of the Neuro Performance Podcast. Thanks for tuning in. Remember to stay connected, rate, review, and visit andymurphy.online to take the next step towards unlocking your pure potential. See you next time.